Okay. Good morning, everybody. Happy extended Labor Day weekend here. And
Yep,
it's Tuesday.
and happy
First,
short trading week.
yeah, it's the first trading day of the month of September. And of course, it is down 1% for the SPY pre-market. Of course, they're going to do that. I think we talked about this exact scenario last Friday, right?
It
Because
just seems like a pattern every month now. Volatility spikes at the beginning of the month just because they can.
yeah.
Even I'll show my VIX chart after you're done with the indices, and you'll see it's just up.
Yeah, and the reason why is we'll just get started, right? We talked about resistance this whole time. If you've been watching day over day, you've been seeing how it just gradually melted up to this 1.272, and right when it got there, I'm like, yeah, it's time to be cautious, and that's how things work, right? Cautious at resistance, because it was just kind of a melt up, and now we're looking for some support. So where can we find potential support? I mean, maybe if we look to the cloud area, I think that's where price is probably going to gravitate towards the daily Ichimoku cloud. So that could be anywhere in like the 629, 630 zone, essentially, or maybe a little bit lower as well. So I think there could be a little bit more sell off. Even that baseline is down there at 634. So we'll see how things develop. But essentially, it's probably consolidation time for some time for SPY. So there's no rush to be overly excited until we get to some kind of this confluence of support down below. And right
Rumble
now
Belly, Rumble Belly says it's the new moon cycle that makes the stocks go down.
we're maybe. I mean, was there any news this morning? I don't even know. Like what scared everybody this morning? Who knows?
Now we
Yeah.
just thought the first monthly candle they could just or the first daily candle of the new month, they can just do all sorts of crazy stuff to it because then it gives them a range to start off working with. It's like on the weekly cycle where the Monday has the big shock to it, and then Tuesday's reaction to Monday, and then Wednesday it sort of attenuates, and then Thursday they make it look like it's going to go one way, so that they can make it finish the week a different way on Friday, and keep all of their calls, all their sold options, expire out of the money, and they get to keep their money, the market makers and whatnot.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, with the SPY though, it's just range bound now. Resistance is up here, support's down closer to 630s, maybe high 620s. So we are probably going to be within that range until either level wants to break. So just be patient with that. And the QQQ, this is also a similar situation. It did get rejected at that 1.272 fib again, and it's going lower. And this one's a little bit closer to the 50-day moving average right there at 561.66, and it's also closer to the daily cloud, which is actually a good thing, right? Because since that massive breakout in April and May, we've never touched the cloud. So going back to that would be a healthy development before any chance of trying to continue higher. So let's just keep watching that 560s area as our potential support. IWM, it is going back below the 886 on linear scale, but log scale, it is kind of hovering still right around the 886 at 233.20. And you got the daily conversion line there at 230. So going back for a little bit of a back test too, to maybe try to build a base on this log scale fib around 233 is what it's doing. So nothing really scary, just a normal back test for that. And this one is still looking a lot better than the QQQ and SPY because it looks like it has potential to be closer to a support zone compared to the others. But if it ever starts to go below that conversion line to 230, then the cloud is a little bit far away. So it could need a deeper back test if that conversion line doesn't hold. So we'll take a look at it day over day, that 230 zone, to see if it can hold. And with that, we'll look at Tesla. And Tesla, no surprise here with what's happening. Got rejected, come back down to support. If you watch my weekly video on Saturday that I did, basically I talked about it's probably going to stay inside the cloud for a little bit longer, which means it could even go back down to the lower levels again of that cloud, which is the conversion lines around 322. That 50-week moving average is around 320. And range bound until it can break out, which is part of the process to getting more bullish. People can hate it all they want, but that's what a lot of stocks do, not just what Tesla does. And lastly is Bitcoin. And I have these arrows here just to show you that it's flipped this arc. I made a post about it too on X. flipped the ARC to a resistance, and it did get up to the 110s earlier or last night, but it's struggling, right? It's struggling to break back above it. So that is the 109,600 zone. And if it can't break back above it, then it might need to go retest at least the 105 zone before continuing higher. So it looks like once we get these confirmation candles that close below levels, they do tend to play out. And this one did play out, right? Once it closed below the ARC, it went lower. Now it closed below this one. So now it's struggling to get back above the bottom ARC. So there still is some underperformance for Bitcoin in its future, it looks like, because it keeps on breaking some temporary support levels. So possibly a longer consolidation tracker.
All right. So here's my SPX chart, and I just wanted to show you guys this. I keep pulling this up now. Basically, price is moving asymptotically towards this 6,666 level is what it feels like. And so, yeah, what can it do? If that's when the whole thing has to end, all it can do is just like run around underneath that range. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen when it hits this. Maybe it'll break out, or maybe it'll just be a huge resistance. But it's the market is working really hard to approach it and not touch it yet, and so it's just doing everything it can to slow the whole thing down. Let's see. I feel like that guy with Jeff Goldblum and the Independence Day when he's like looking at the alien countdown. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen when this thing counts down to 0, but that's what the VIX is trying to do. It's like an alien countdown. Here's the VIX chart, 4-hour candlestick. So here's where we were on. This is Friday's candlestick. And then, gosh, and then here's like Mondays. I guess they did a little bit of VIX stuff over the holiday trading period yesterday. And then, yeah, here we are today. I think this could definitely, this 4-hour VIX could be heading back for this trend line again. So, maybe keep an eye on this trend line. If you do it on your own chart at home, just look for this spike on May 23rd and this spike on August 1st and draw a trend line through it. And then just look and see if this doesn't come all the way back up to it again this week, maybe even just today. And then runs back down here again towards the take profits line that I've got at 1471 on the VIX. So, yeah, just look out. And, it's way above the Bollinger Band here, but it could kind of pull one of these. Anyway, high volatility opening to September. Do I want to talk about anything? No, let's just go into the requests here. So I'm just going to do SBET first, only because I saw it. And then, yeah, 4-hour. Let's look at the 16-hour chart. On the 16-hour chart, there is room for it to continue going down a ways and not hit the Bollinger Band. I see my 50% level is right here at 1675. Maybe it just wants to do a touch of 1675. It's starting to get a little far from the moving average 75, but I mean, obviously it can get really far away from the 75. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just say, if it loses 1675, then it's possible it starts to explore this little range between 1675 and the 382 at 1040. And I'm going to change this to these little 0 to 1 on the right. Yeah, let's just say, let's see if it doesn't come down to this 8888 at 1586, or maybe the 786 at 1510. I had the pivot points on here. Where'd they go? There we go. Ultimate pivot points is a nice indicator as well. So over a 16-hour period, if price was allowed to return to the norm, it would want to go back to the center pivot up here at 2104. But if they push it down and push it down, put this to the right, it's almost at the S1 now for the week at 1668. The most extreme would be 1552. Like, for example, if you were going to, I don't know, sell puts then you could probably do it in the range below 1552 to 1352 and get a pretty decent price for them. But you're safest like selling the puts below 1352, though the price isn't as good. All right. So SBET, it's in this range. I think it's trying to kind of go sideways. Again, you can sort of see the biggest move up, the reaction to that move. It starts to attenuate, and then probably the last thing it does is do a little dip before it starts to test up again. It really wants to go back towards this all-time high and check out 124.12. Eventually, that's the whole pattern it's in. The weekly, it's just really trying to make a little giant cup handle after handle after handle. All right, that's SBET, and let's go back to the beginning here. Game. GAME. This one's been tough because I really thought it was going to stay above this $1.06 level, and it did not. And now we're down at 75.50. Let me just turn off the Bollinger Bands for a second, and I'm going to throw it back to Matt right after this one. Ultimate pivots, like it's getting really far away from its weekly center pivot, like really far. So this should have a snapback reaction at some point. If you want, while it's consolidating, you can kind of see the pointy little. It's like a ending diagonal kind of going down. It's really pushing the limits down here. I'd say if it touched the weekly S1 at 69 cents, that'd be probably a pretty good re-entry opportunity. And I can even pull this down. That still makes this is my fib extension on the linear scale from this low to this high to this, whatever the higher low is going to end up being here. If it did go to, like I said, 69 cents, then its 11.4 is 96 cents. And the 382 is what I would expect to see it at minimum to $1.60. And, it's just really getting opportunities are abounding. It's 110%. Oh, wait, no, it's even more than that. From like 70 cents, 69 cents to the 382 fib extension is like 130%. So, games is getting into the part where like it could be really, really good. If you're holding it like me, it's been terrible. My cost base is up here at $1.72, but I did raise some money on Friday, expecting the big volatility today. So maybe I'll DCA into my game a little bit here. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah. Are you guys aware of the LTC and XRP posts on X? I see that from Jim. I'm not sure what the posts you're talking about. Are you aware?
No, Litecoin versus XRP. I would be curious if it has anything to do with
Dino
working on the post quantum computing standards. But other than that, no, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, I'll do a couple of crypto here. I will do Link, and with Link, it's just range bound. And there's really nothing developing except for it already broke out, but it already broke out like over a month ago, back here in early August. And now it's just back testing some levels, and it could still back test that 2111. So beautiful chart, just stuck in a range until it's ready to break above that 2585. We can take a look at MobX as well, MobX. And this one, not much to chart. It's just in a perpetual downtrend. There's really no stability, no support really defined. So nothing really to chart until it can start to break back above some of this resistance above here in the 2 or 3 cent zone. But every time it gets closer to the cloud, it just gets rejected. So if you really want a trend change, it's going to have to start breaking that Ichimoku cloud, which is up there around 4.5 cents. Until then, just a endless downtrend until proven otherwise. And we can take a look here at, we can look at SoFi, but I don't think there's any change. It's just stuck between the 886 and the 2826, the all-time high. That's it, 2276, 2826, that's the range. Nothing's going to change that at all. And lastly, I'll do BT, and Bit Digital. it's coming back down to the 382 again, 245. That is important, right? It's a very, very important fib, and it already broke out massively. It came back down, and now that 382 fib is right in the way. So people are like all scared it's going to collapse or do some stuff like that, but ultimately, I don't think it really needs to. And this fib, by the way, is just from this recent high to the recent low. So that's the retrace I'm really looking at there, because it's the more recent levels, and it's just a normal process. It's just still trying to find its higher low. So we got to be patient with that until it's really ready to break free of the cloud and get more bullish. So it's in a nice zone as we speak. Tracker, back to you.
I was just curious about that myself. I took Litecoin and XRP and divided Litecoin by XRP, and this is the chart that you get. And it does kind of look like it might want to return towards the center here, meaning Litecoin wants to outperform XRP in at least the short term. So that seems maybe there's something to that. What is this going to say? No, nothing useful there. Okay. MS. Here's VVPR. Let's do VVPR. This is another one that I have a position in. Yeah, let's see. After running down to 62 cents, it came up to $8.88 and then back down to 363. And it's just sort of stuck. Again, here's the biggest move, but it wasn't done. It drops back and then pushes a little higher. But now it's been stuck in this blue triangle. And so it's going to oscillate around the center point, and then which is right about $5.34. This should resolve to the upside, because you can see the longer it stays sideways, the longer the moving average 300, the longer moving average has time to come up and then sort of catch price and then push it up. So yeah, what I was looking for on this was for it to return to the 50%. No, that's the wrong one. That is a subset. Anyway, no, I'm definitely bullish on VVPR. It's a treasury based on XRP. All right, let's see, and then I'll do. I don't want to do all the same ones every time. I'm sorry. I'll do. Let me do people. Lots of people are asking about AMD here. How far could AMD go? I have this chart that I drew up last week, and it looks like it wants to return to maybe touch the moving average 300 or the 75. I've got it as going 618382. Is that Fibonacci extension in linear scale, flavor of 2025. So it did go to the 618. So dropping to 382 would be 141.98. Remember when I thought I was going to stop at 142 and then drop back to 116? And instead it blew past it. Now it's going to test the 142 as support before going higher. So yeah, I would definitely look at this as an opportunity to get into AMD here. So from 142, come here. If it drops back to 141.98 and then runs up to the 1382, that is 120% higher, which is what I did right there, and I just kind of forgot about it. 120% higher for AMD from there. If it fell below 148, it would probably just get caught by this moving average 300, just a little bit lower. It would have to go really fast, but that'd be like 130, 135 at the lowest. It would probably catch it a little higher than that as it's moving up over time. All right, back to you, Matt, and then I'll grab something else off the rack here.
Yeah, I just wanted to show my AMD chart real quick too.
Oh, great.
And just switch it over. Yeah, so AMD, it's looking like it's going to open the week starting below the 702 at 164, and also, well, it closed below it too. So since it really closed below support, the chances of going back down to the 618 become possible. So I think that could be the target, the destination right there, the 150 zone, maybe 149 on a higher time frame for a big breakout back test and maybe some consolidation. So it's time to be just patient with it, right? I sent many posts actually, not even posts, even on the morning live stream. I talked about this 786 is probably not likely to get broken, and it's cautious at resistance. This is why you see I always say cautious at resistance because that is the point. If you do want to take some profits, that would be the time to do it. And now it's going back down for a deeper back test. So we're going to keep watching that 149.93 now for that next potential for AMD before it can actually go higher. And I wanted to show Galaxy as well. And Galaxy, what do we see here? We see prices still trickling down this arc. It's going to open up right around this arc this week as well, right around what 22.75. So we'll see if it does need to find some stability there. We do have the 786 fib right below it at the 2110. That's our next higher time frame support zone. If it did want to continue just trickling down that arc and go lower and lower until it found that support, because this got rejected in the end at that 886. So after a big breakout rejection, maybe just some more consolidation, perhaps a little bit lower first before higher, but also a normal process before it really wants to break free of that 886 fib. So patience with that one, but still a very nice development for Galaxy overall because it's just looking for a higher low. That's all it's doing, looking for a higher low before continuing that journey higher. Tracker.
All right, I've got BitMiner up here, and I was just looking at my chart and wondering what happened here. Do this. So BitMiner, after its all-time high, well, actually, I'm sorry, not its all-time high. I'm just using the significant high on February 10th in 2021 of $880 down to, and I'm ignoring this wick here, down to this low of $1.92. Let's see. It ran up to the 702, back through the 50% level. I thought it would go to the 618, and instead it fell short of the 618. And so now what I've done is I pulled a set of fib retracements from this high at 160.96 down to this low of 27.60. And what it did is it went to the halfway point right here at this 50%, $66.65. It was resistance. It tried one more time, resistance, then it fell back down. And the 236 is holding right now, but I can see clearly if it could go back to this 1111 at 33.57 and touch the moving average 75, and then that is support, and then it starts testing back up again. So look for an opportunity somewhere between 33.57 and where it is now. And then I think next time it goes for that 50% level at 66.65, it should get over it and then cross back under it. So let's update these little lines here. Let's say it does something like, and I'm just gonna take this over here. Maybe to the 618 next time. So look for something like this, and then I'll just have to come up with one between here and here, maybe back to the 50% again. There you go. That's my BM&R prediction. Look for, gosh, that's really great. If it went to 33.57 and then up to even just retesting that 50% level, that is 103% higher to the 50% level, about 143% higher to that 618.8207. Could it drop lower? It could. It could try to meet moving average 300 at this 382. I guess that's if it's just keeps doing a slow descent. If it loses this 1111, then I would start to look for it to maybe descend towards this 382. But let's just see what happens when it gets there. I'm going to put an alert right there, right just above 33.57 to give me something to watch. That's BM&R. I'll do one more, and then I'll give it back to Matt. Let me do. I was going to lemonade. Lemonade's probably fine. Let me go to the trade desk. This is one I messed up on. I was really hoping that this giant move would give us support at the 236, and it did not. It went all the way back down under the 11.4. So now it's basically back to making the 11.4 resistance. I don't see it going back to 42.81 again. I think this was the biggest. And, it was a crazy sell-off too because they actually had like good earnings, but it was just, I guess overextended. The market decided to take profits on it. So based on this, I'm just going to do, this is log scale. I'm going to just do a quick one of these. This is fib channel. So I kind of grab these two levels of support, and let's see if it can stay on this fib channel and then go to the next one over it. And then so if I do a fib extension of that, and then this I'm almost done here. From here to here to here. I'm sorry, actually, this is where the earnings sold off, isn't it? 16 hours. Let's see. So yeah, 382. Oh, I need. Maybe we could do. Maybe we could still do this. No, it's not going to do that now. I have to get rid of this. I just want to put my 236 in here. There we go. So possibly if $50.14 is the bottom, it could be stuck under this 57.39 for a while, but eventually it'll want to go to the 382, 236 at least. And then 1236, 764, 2236, something like that. But just look for 68.72 to be the next resistance that you would want to, if you're trading in and out, that you'd want to sell it at. But I think down here, anywhere near $50.14 is probably a good place. And then, if it drops below 50.14, that's where your stop is. And then look out below if it does that. But it's just hanging out right over there right now. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah. Let's take a look at HIMS and maybe Archer, Aviation. Yeah, let's take a look. And so HIMS, I just have the linear scale pulled up, and I just wanted to show the cloud, how the weekly cloud actually has been holding as a support week over week. The candles have been closing inside of it. This week, it is going to open up a little bit below the cloud, but it still has potential to maybe get some liquidity down below, closer to that 1.618, down to the 39.42 until it wants to bounce. And then it even has potential to close the week back inside the cloud to maintain that as support. So the week is young. The month just started to, and it was a solid monthly candle close for HIMS. So it's just looking like price is still consolidating in a zone where the cloud is, where this linear scale 1.618 is $39.42, $42. That has been the zone for a couple of weeks now, and nothing has changed. So that's that. And ACHR, we can see that price is going back to the weekly cloud finally, right? This has been about time on a week-to-week basis, and I think this is all we need to pay attention to. I've been showing you my log scale chart for a while, but this is just a linear scale because it kind of shows how price has just been essentially going sideways through time since it really broke out back in November of 2024, right? It has not really been doing anything except going sideways after this massive breakout from the cloud. And in fact, it has never touched the cloud. So I think if you're going to look at anything for ACHR, it's going to be the weekly cloud. And this week, the cloud does sit right around 843. And then the bottom of the cloud is around 765. So that is going to be our zone of support. So touching the cloud for the first time after almost a year is a normal process for ACHR. But after that, it could actually start to find some stability there and eventually have the uptrend to be a real thing and not just fake outs from the past couple of attempts. So good developments overall, but touching the cloud, that's what I'm looking at. Minimum target 843 down to the 7s for that support. Go ahead, Tracker. We'll do it back to you right now.
Okay. I've got MUX here, McEwen for Rumble Belly. I was looking for, at minimum, a 382-236 fib extension in the linear, and it looks like we got more than that. It went to the 618. In fact, that's where it is right now. It crossed over my 618 1234. It's still above it here in pre-market, but it gapped up to get there. So chances are it's probably going to open at resistance. If I'm wrong, it goes to 76, the 76.4 at 1372. So I guess just look for this. If it doesn't immediately plunge back under 1234, then it could run to 1376 and then run down to 1006. I'll just do it like this. It's either it's gonna open and then just immediately start going down, or it goes up to 1376 and then to the 382 here. And then after that, it should be 1382. I got to change this. Let's do this one. No, it's not that one. I'll just do a 764. And then all the way to the right. Okay, so these blue fibbed numbers. So either 764 or the 618, which is now missing, to the 382, the 1382, 100% to the 2382 is what I would look for if this is going to continue bullishly as it. Yeah, and look, it looks like a big giant inverse head and shoulders sort of. So here you go. 1006 will be the support either now or 1376 is the resistance. And then looking, HIMS and ACHR, Palantir, NVIDIA. Let me do, the Litecoin X account was attacking XRP last night. Oh, that's hilarious. Here's Serve Robotics. I feel like I've got something for it. These are my older charts. These XP, EWP times GAN, which I don't always have a GAN on these, but the plan was to put a GAN on all these. Looks like it went right. It's just been stuck at this 236. It went to 382, 236, and it's still hanging around. The 11.4 is all the way down at 705. I don't think it has to go there, but if it did go there, that'd be a great place to add more. Eventually, this wants to go to 32.39, I'd say. So from where price is now, it's like 208% higher to get to the 123.6 fib. This is all kind of Dopplering into its lifetime 2618. So actually, this is going to be a lot. There will be a whole lot of activity between the Circle 4 and the Circle 5, which will cover a wide gambit. This is a simplistic version of it, but the 5 waves up from 2 to 3 should, I don't know, be more straightforward, kind of something like that. It'll look like well, it won't look like a diagonal. It should look like 5 waves up. Anyway, but over a longer period of time. All right, so if you're just patient, 208% higher to 32.39 from Serve Robotics being at 1047 now. All right, how about back to you, Matt, and I'll look and see what else I can get on.
Yeah, just I'll do one more before I finish the show here.
I'm gonna do IREN after this.
All right, we already did Tesla. I already did Tesla in the morning. I already just did HIMS, Nathan. I already did Galaxy as well. There's a lot of double requests here that we just did, and yeah, you guys can just scroll back and watch those videos. But essentially, what I'll do is, yeah, I'll do. Did you do VG tracker?
Do VG?
Yeah, did you do it? Because if not, I'll do it.
No, I did not do VG.
Yeah, I'll just do that as my last one here. So VG, just want to take a look. That price is kind of getting rejected now at this resistance zone, the 50% fib and the baseline, 1312, 1313. That is the zone that it broke below back on early August. Cannot get back above. So if it can't get above, it might need to go a little bit lower. So this chart right here, it is basically just very volatile from the high to the low. It even has potential to go back to the 1122 if it cannot break above this 1313 zone. So that's something to pay attention to. Break above it, it can get more bullish, but if not, I think a deeper back test is still possible before the continuation higher. So with that, tracker, go ahead and finish off the show.
All right, I've got IREN here as promised, and in this larger scale, you can the dotted lines here. Oh, I did from this 236. That's interesting. Well, from this 236, probably because of the way it looks on log scale, linear scale. Why did I do it from there? You know what? Now I want to do it from here. All right, I just changed my chart a little bit. Let's see how it looks now. I had wave one up. It did this weird thing where it tested the bottom and then the top. There's not like a a big 1-2. It's kind of like a little AB, AB, but in hindsight, it looks like that's the 1-2. And that's all I can see for that for now. And then this is like your 3-4, and you've got the right amount of space between the circle 1 and the circle 4. So it's in the final fifth wave now. And because I moved my fibs, I have to target a little higher. No, 1, 2, 3. Actually, all I did was say 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 6, 4, 2, 2, 3, 6. So actually, now instead of 37.52, my target's 38.43 for all of circle 5 here, wave 5. It's just on the way up. It's already gotten the from circle 4 to circle 5 is 5 subwaves, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of call AB is really 3, 4 here. So yeah, look for it could come back down to 24.14, but then that should hold as support. It should not go as low as 22.17. It should keep this little bit of distance here once again. So I'd say 24.13 at the lowest for the B, and then on up to 38.43 for all of circle 5. Then an ABC down, which would look more like, hang on one second, from here to I kind of want to do this 618 here. Let's say 21.41 at the worst, but it might not even do that. I mean, Palantir didn't do this, so we'll see. That's it. Anyway, one crime at a time. Let's see if we can get to 38.43 before I worry about how it's going to ABC down from there. I wanted to show one more. I just want to show Ondas, because Ondas is down 10% in pre-market. Well, down 9% now in pre-market. So there might be a buying opportunity here. It didn't get the big handle here. Here's a big cup. And it really hasn't done the big handle yet. So maybe this is where it's going to get it finally. So look for a potential large pullback in ONDS. Maybe it'll test this previous high here, which is about 346. That's 535 now. So or maybe there's a short put opportunity. I don't know. Just be careful if you're holding the stock, though, ONDS. And one last thing I want to say, NET, Cloudflare. Yeah, I did a bunch of posts over the weekend. Well, not a bunch of posts. I did like 2 posts over the weekend talking about, the coming threat of quantum computing. And then this is an internet security company that has got some great innovative solutions for dealing with, the post quantum computing era. So they've got this stock's got a big future ahead of it. And it looks like it could be kind of a Palantiring candidate in its own right. So I just want to put that on your radar if it wasn't on your radar already. All right, that's it. And we might say, look and see if we say something. I think we were planning on doing a Triumvirate show tonight. We just have to confirm one last thing about our special guest.
We'll find out. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys.
Take care. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.